We're live. Tanya, you're muted.
Hey, we're so excited. Welcome to another episode of Legion's Ladies Live. We are super excited to welcome Trevor with us tonight. And thank you so much, Trevor, for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This is very exciting. You know I love the show. You know I'm in the chat.
I know. And we are super excited to have you here with us today. Amber, what's going on with you? Anything good this week?
Nothing. Just, hanging out, relaxing, working.
So I did not think that I was going to be able to go to Heroes Con this past weekend.
So.
And we were very blessed to be able to work it out to take off on Friday. And we went down because Saturday and Sunday were packed. So got to go to Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina this past weekend. Got to hang out with Ish and Jordan.
The whole gang.
Yeah, and of course George was there. Joe and Jim from the studio was there. It's really awesome to see them. Got to talk to them a lot.
Don't forget to mention Van because he'll be upset if you don't mention Van.
Well, Van was not there on Friday when I was there.
Oh, he wasn't there Friday. Okay.
No, he was there on
to heck with you,
Saturday
Van.
and Sunday. I know. I did miss him, though. I wish he would have been there. But he was not there on Friday when I was there. But it was great seeing Chris James, too. Hadn't seen him in a while.
Yep.
And it was really good to catch up with him. And, several other people that we got to see. Mark Thomas. I'm trying to think. There was a couple of others. Anyway, but what was the most fun, of course, was there's this one lady that came up and Joe was sitting there pulling pieces apart. They had some, figures. And he was just pulling them apart and putting them together and showing you can do this and you can do this. And this little one lady, she was like, "Oh my God, that's how you should advertise this. This is awesome." And she ended up getting a race, and it was hilarious. It was so much fun.
That's great.
I love that.
Great.
I know. So it's really cool to watch people see the figures for the first time. I got to draw the name of one of the giveaways. So that was kind of cool. And it was a lot of fun. Those guys are hilarious, and they are so much fun. But I was excited to be able to go. We picked up a couple of things, not much. We didn't need a whole lot, but we picked up a couple of things. But that was fun. Anyway,
Nice.
Who all is in the chat, Miss Amber?
I gotcha. We have Dave Orkin. Always number one, that guy.
Dave. Yep. It's his thing.
We have Kevin McCoy. We have Cloud. Stacy Lynn.
Stacy.
Jeff Evans.
Hey, Jeff.
We have Trevor's twin. B-Dog. Rob Zamora. Trevor
Both our
himself.
wives say we look nothing alike. I just want to say that. Both our wives no.
It's so funny.
Unless he stands at the table while you walk around and somebody thinks he's you.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. Schmerber. And Darla. Hi, Darla.
Hey. The better acronym.
Sweetest acronym. Literally action figs.
Hey.
Heinrich.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Louise. We have Carver Customs.
What's up, Brian?
And Trevor.
Hey, ladies and Trevor. So in the news, we've got a couple of things happening that are really awesome. Joe Fest is this weekend, so if you can make it down to Augusta, Georgia, right? For Joe Fest, Ish and the gang are going down there. Van will be there. I saw him in the car.
Yes, I saw him in the car too.
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
So-
yeah, he will be there.
But Ish and the gang are going down and should be ready to rock and roll this weekend at Joe Fest. So if you can go see them, stop by and see them this weekend, that would be awesome. Something else that is coming up at the end of this month that I just think is amazing. We have we had a Cabal member very suddenly pass away, and Cabal Cares people are donating items. If you want to donate an item, get in touch with Brian Lynn at Carver Customs or Cullen Cup and let them know. I think the drawing is going to be, let me see if I can. So it is, the drawing is going to be Sunday, June 30th. Yeah, Sunday, June 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the cutoff to get tickets are $10 each. And the cutoff to get tickets is 4 o'clock on that same day. So, and it is to help the family of Ralph Moss. Lived in Germany, planned to be at Legion's Con this year, and just how suddenly things change. I mean, it is just so hard. It is. Yeah. But some great things that they are giving away. Painted heads. These are fantastic.
Yeah.
Some just great giveaways that they have shown. A single character on a simple background. That's kind of cool.
Nice.
Look at this head.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
I know.
And Ralph had like a collection of those ducks, those duck heads, and he was putting together a lot of those like customs with the duck heads and stuff. So that's why Eric put that one in there. Really nice.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. And so many great donations from lots and lots of people. I know that if you want to donate something, they would be more than happy to take it and add it into the donation. Oh,
it's actually
Carver Customs.
Cutoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe we are at the cutoff for donations. We are at 50 plus prizes now. Wow.
That's great.
So instead of donating, go buy tickets. So it's $10 per ticket. There's no limit. And lots of amazing gifts, prizes that they're giving away. I mean, it's
good odds and a good cause. And Mark Calvo did a great write-up of Ralph. He was good friends with him, I guess, and it was just really, really nice, touching, heartwarming write-up of him on the Cabal. So look that up. But it's just sad. But I mean, it's amazing the way the Cabal comes together for this stuff.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
No other community I know does this.
Right, and I think they said that Emil did the logo for the Cabal Cares or whatever.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool too.
That was a great idea, and I think that was Walter's thing. Like he wanted to do something because this, we're doing so much, and I you don't want to say it's often because it's not always just about somebody unfortunately passing away, but that has happened. And it's just a cool thing to just have around, the logo and the idea of Cabal Cares to help out people who are, having a rough time. Right. So, disasters or whatever. Right. It's going to happen, unfortunately, and it's just great that you can rely on people, in a community that you're part of, which is really cool. Really, really cool.
It really is.
Great idea. And a great logo by Emil. Really amazing.
Yeah. So get your tickets. There is a something on the Cabal go look for it, and
Yep.
Cabal Cares, and then tell them how many tickets you want and send them some money so you can get in on that drawing. 50 plus prizes already, so that is amazing. It is going to be a lot of fun, and Cullen is a lot of fun with his wheel.
Cullen is the wheel master. Yeah. Yeah.
And
they should have called him for
yeah.
for taking over for Pat Sajak. I think I don't know if anybody gave him a call for that.
Oh, that's awesome, Greg. Cabala's family. It really is, and yeah. And Carver Custom says, I just wanted to show that Cabal, above all, goes beyond figures, and I completely agree, Brian. Absolutely.
Good for you putting it together, Brian.
Yes, thank you. All right, second little bit of news on the 30th as well, at 11 o'clock at night is the last time that you are able to order the Ashes of Agbendor. Oh wait, let me go all the way back through those. So I did want to bring these up and go through them real quick. The Blue Shield Soldier, great. I mean, that's...
Look at the stuff. Come on.
Just
I didn't know how I was going to get it all in one picture. Yeah, when Jeremy told me he wanted to recreate the original image that they have of the original Night Builder set, you know, and they had like the weapons and stuff splayed out kind of, you know, around him, and I'm like, there's too much stuff here. Like, I've got to really get the stuff in really tight, or it's going to be a mess. Yeah, it's an amazing set, man. This is really good
to me. Yeah, to me, and for what was it, $60 for all of that?
Yep.
I mean, it just
you can't beat it.
You really can't, and it is crazy how good that stuff is, and the fact that the pieces and parts match one of the previous ones, the 2.0.
Yeah, the female.
I mean, that's going to be fantastic. And then, of course, your photography is so
just
good.
amazing.
Thank you. Thanks.
This was a movie.
Some of these. I know, me too, right? Like every time I take one of these, like, oh, this is so cool. I just want to light the movie. That's all I want. I want to be part of that in the lighting department or something like that. But yeah, this wave was tricky. It's one of those waves where, like, you know, each scene, I'm trying to give the story, you know, give it a little bit of the story that Jeremy, you know, threw at me. You know, great stuff, and you really kind of want to bring it into that. So it's tough. Everyone has to have a different set, and you know, it's a lot more than like the even the Noble Bear wave. Like, there was a lot of snow shots. Like, I could just, you know, pop one on, take one off, move the camera a little bit, and you got a new shot. But this was a whole new set every time. But yeah, these guys are great.
Yeah,
really great.
And then the 2-pack of the Goblins, again, fantastic. I know that the guys who love Goblins are super excited about this
the
pack.
Malignancy boys.
We had the Dwarf 2-pack before, had the 2-pack before, and now these here, the Dwarfs, and now these are just fantastic. And again, we're probably in the same movie here. I'm just thinking these are amazing.
Oh yeah, we're just underground at this point. Yeah.
I'm loving it. And then this is just fantastic. I know the Purple Gang has to be super excited for these.
Yeah, it's a good way for them. It's a good way for those boys.
It really is. Lots of purple, and these are just that shot.
Oh man! Wow, it's beautiful.
That was fun to do because that's something I've never done before. Like, there is cotton in the front for some of those front clouds. That's actual, like, just cotton that he's coming out of, and then, you know, there's some fog laid over that, but and then it blends into some of the clouds in the background image. But it was fun to light. This is something I've always wanted to try, and I just don't do like a lot of Superman shots or anything like that, where you'd have
Right.
somebody, above the clouds. But I'm like, ooh, Angel, yeah, he's gonna be above the clouds for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And then
Oh, I love this.
they
game.
gave a story to the gold skeleton that everybody was like, why is there a gold skeleton? So now we know why there's a gold skeleton. This is really a neat, again, so much stuff with this. But those wings, I know,
Yeah.
was it Scaphoid that they matched so well with that?
Yep. Yeah. This is a great set for a lot of reasons. Like, even if you don't want the whole angel gold skeleton thing, you know what I mean? Those wings are going to go great with Scaphoid. The bear skeleton parts, if you're a painter, you can get those before Necronominus comes out. Well, no, this won't come out before Necronominus, but you can, you'll get extra ones. But
Right.
I love the gold skeleton. Like, I love skeletons, so like I don't care. You can put it in any color. I'll buy a skeleton. I'll buy every color skeleton that you have. The who came out with a Storm Collectibles came out with the skeletons, I think, and I bought every color of those: translucent red,
Oh, wow.
translucent blue. Yeah, I love skeletons. So, but this guy reminded me of. There's a show called Raised by Wolves. I don't think anybody saw it, but because it lasted 2 seasons and then or maybe it was even 1 season. I don't know. It was really cool. But one of the characters was almost this like this flying. She was kind of gold and robotic, and she would fly, and she was just deadly, like wiping people out. And it just reminded me of that, and that's why this kind of imagery kind of came from that. So yeah, I love
Yeah,
this figure.
that's awesome.
I love this figure.
And all right, and you got to bring back some of the snow here.
Yes, my favorite stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about snow. I just love shooting snow. I like snow. Like, Long Island, like when I lived in New York, we get a lot of snow in the winter. We don't get much snow down here. It's kind of a disappointment. I know most people hate it, but I like snow. So
I also like the snow.
this gives me my snow fix in the middle of summer, which is nice.
So we are down below where the snow happens, but we're in the ice belt. So when you guys are getting nice blue, fluffy, beautiful snow, we're getting ice.
You're getting sleet and ice. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so
Long Island, we're on the water, so we get a lot of that too. We get a lot of this when the snow just skirts us a lot, and we get a lot of ice too. So
yeah, when you guys are getting the beautiful snow, just think about us down here getting the ice, and so then the whole city shuts down. We can't go anywhere or do anything. All right, let's go with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is such a great figure. I think it is one of the ones that I'm most looking forward to. There's so much you can do with this figure. Yeah. I think he's awesome.
He's a cool cat. That cape is great. I love that cape. Yeah, just the whole build of this thing is great. The boots, it's just such a classic. I mean, it gives me, like Puss in Boots feels.
Right.
So like,
absolutely.
I just dig it.
I love that.
That's funny. And then the Shadow Star. So I have noticed that there's 2 camps. You either love it or you don't. With the centaurs. So
yep.
But this picture
I love them.
They're my favorite.
It's amazing. Yeah,
I understand. Like, watching some of the other shows, people have said they take up a lot of space on the shelf. Totally get that. I'm out of space for the most part. I don't know though. I can't pass up a centaur, man. It's just too cool.
I know. They're just so. It's great the way that they did that. And of course, the most excited that I am is to get an ASAC because I don't have one at all. Yeah. I don't have the
well, there you go. Sure.
version 1. So to be able to get the version 2 and oh man, her soft goods, this is amazing. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
To get her.
Yeah, this is a great upgrade. I mean, I'm a sick completist, so like I have to have all the versions.
Right.
but the thing with the version 2s, I mean, they're just better. You know what I mean? So like, if you just want the character, you just want the representation on the shelf, you're golden. You know what I mean? Like, it's great.
Yeah, and this,
she's so good.
I mean, this looks like it came out of a movie, Trevor. I mean, I kid you not. You look at this, and I'm like, wow.
Well, they're movies to me. They're movies in my head. Like, I always wanted to be like a director or a comic book artist, and I was a pretty good comic book artist, but like I was just too slow. I knew I wasn't going to really make much of a living at it. It was a lot of work for, the amount of money that they were willing to pay you. And being a director and getting to direct anything that you really want to do was going to be slim to none chance. So this was kind of like, when I started doing this stuff, it was kind of like, oh, I can do all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, make my own stories, make my own movies, man. It's great.
Yeah, this is wonderful. And then of course, Shui, right? Shui. Okay.
Schwiggity Shui.
So good. All kinds of great stuff.
Cloth goods are great on this figure. It's really cool. The boots, the 2.0 pirate boots, at least that's what I call them.
Right.
I love that. Yeah, I didn't get a shot of the hood up, but the hood does really look nice, and they showed it on, Jeremy showed it and on his show up, and it's just got a more of a hang to it. It's really, really nice. These clothes are fantastic.
Yeah. And then all in price is $420, and I think when we added it up, it was like almost or right at a figure, a 35
free figure,
$37 figure. Yeah. When you add it all up, it comes up to right at a figure. So yeah, it is amazing. If you want one or all of these, get your orders in June 30th at 11 p.m. That's when they will go away and then go to the retailers. So if you're going to get them from Four Horsemen, now's the time to do that. So, yay, we got through the news. I think that was everything.
I think so.
And all right, Trevor, let's talk. Let's learn a little bit more about you. So, when you were a kid, what were you like your first action figures?
My first action figures. Well, you know what? I can't say these were my first action figures. My first action figures were probably like Migos, like Mego Star Trek and Planet of the Apes figures. You know what Migos? They reissued them. They're out in the stores and Target now, but they're not quite the same. But that, like the superheroes, the Legion of Superheroes, like they had Shazam and Superman and Batman and stuff. So those, I'm trying to think of the timeline. Those were probably my first. But then, of course, everything turned in 1977 into, Star Wars, and then so this is my. This is. I hope these don't fall out. Sometimes they do. No? Okay, there we go. We're good. So these are all my original figures from as a kid. Awesome. I was an anal retentive kid as well. So like I kept everything very, like I got all the guns for I think almost all of these. The only stupid thing I did was I have a new Han Solo here. This isn't the one I grew up with because the one I grew up with, I drew a beard on him for some reason with blue pen. I don't know why. Moment of insanity. But yeah, those. I mean, then it was just Star Wars. I had a cousin who gave me all the big 12-inch GI Joes back then, and like the Jeep, which was, I mean, you're talking 6 scale. It was huge, and the space capsule and stuff like that. So those are really cool, because you could change the clothes out and everything, all that stuff, and switch them up, Kung Fu grip and all that stuff. Right. But yeah, that's I don't remember the timeline of all that stuff, but those were probably some of my first figures. Yeah.
So Kevin has a lot of those. I don't know if he has them all or not. I know he's got. Mm-hmm. I think he's got the case as well. But one of the cool things is he ended up getting an extra Luke. I don't know how he came across one, but he came across an extra Luke. He got one for a birthday or something. Anyway, so he was out back playing with them on the sand and stuff, and got the idea to use, I think, his granddad's magnifying glass to burn off the hand.
I'm taking it this is when he was a kid, not now, not recently.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
It was last week.
he was 8, 9-ish, 10 maybe.
Well,
and he said, you know, when I asked him about Bestman Luke, there
you go.
he was like, well, it had to be burnt off because that's what a lightsaber would have done.
Wow. Wow. That is
I love that.
that is very very detail oriented there. And your first customization, right? I mean,
right,
you know.
That's right. His first one, he needed a Luke without an arm, without a hand, and he got one. So,
you know, if those things hadn't come out, like I'm trying to think of with Empire if they came out before, because back in the day, like you'd get stuff. Well, you kind of do now too, but get stuff before the movie came out.
Right.
But I think Bestman came out afterwards, but they had to create it before. But of course, back then it would have been a choking hazard. But I always wondered why they didn't have the ability for it to just pop off, to be able to take the hand off.
Yeah.
Of course, choking hazard is the answer right there. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean those were, I mean, they're so small, especially when you compare them to the 6, 7, 8-inch figures that we have today. You know, they're just so small. And so he does have, and I showed him on Legion's Lair, I think, over our fireplace, we have a Millennium Falcon. I mean, that's like the art over the fireplace.
Wow.
Yeah. and then beside that, he's got shelves, and he's got scenes set up on the shelves with different figures and stuff downstairs.
See, that is the difference between having a wife who also collects and having a wife who just doesn't understand any of this stuff. There's no way that would happen in my house.
So
I'm sure I'd want it. I got enough down here as it is, so it's enough.
So let me say that I didn't collect until Mythics, and your photo is what did it. But I never collected until Mythic. But I told my husband, because he told me, because when the big Millennium Falcon came out, he says, if I get this, we're hanging it above the fireplace. And I kind of laughed, and I'm like, Kevin, because it was so expensive. And I told him, and we could not afford, I mean, we were like, we could not afford it. And I was like, well, I tell you what, if you get it, you can hang it above the fireplace. Because in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, there's no way this is going to happen, right? And then...
Oh, Tanya.
My
silly
You're
Tanya.
so
father, my dad, gave it to him for his birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, you walked right into that one.
Great.
I did.
You did.
Absolutely
He
did.
made sure he got that.
My dad gave it to him for his birthday. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So above the fireplace it went, and we bought the shelves that the smaller figures could fit on it. That's what's up there, and it has been, and it will stay that way. So I told him that that's what would happen, and that's what happened. So, Trevor, you are married and have been for how long?
Yep. 24 years this year. Yeah.
Yay! Congratulations!
That's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a blink of an eye, man. I can't even believe it's 24 years, but yeah.
Kevin and I are about to celebrate 27 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
Really?
But we've been
Congrats.
but we've been together for 37 or 38 years. Yeah. We were high school sweethearts, so we've been together forever.
Oh yeah. We dated for about 6 months and got married and decided to get married. So
and have
I love
done
that.
well for 24 years. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So when you're not taking pictures, what do you do, Trevor?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. Especially these days, there's not a lot of not taking pictures. We, you know, we kayak. We like to kayak. Um, I have like projects, you know what I mean, that I do with them at that
Right.
stage of life, fixing this and mending that and cleaning up, you know, the garage or whatever. So it's, I mean, right now it's kind of, we have an elderly dog. We don't have kids. We have dogs, and we've had a series of dogs that have just progressively, one has gotten old and a little bit, you know, difficult to deal with, you know, medicine and stuff like that. Not problematic.
Right.
Just, you know, somebody's got to be there for them, and
Right.
then the next one gets old, and somebody's got to be here for that. So we haven't been on like a proper vacation in like 6 years. So like it's,
Oh,
you know, like I wish we could say, I could say like you know, well, we vacation in Paris every, we haven't. Hopefully we've lined somebody up to be able to stay at the house with the dog, and we're actually going to get away pretty soon. But you know, we managed to, like, Long Island is great. Like we're an hour from the city, so we go into the city all the time and go to see you know, plays, or, you know, Madison Square Garden bands there, and you know, we go out. You go out east, it's the Hamptons, which is beautiful. So we get out. We just don't go very far generally.
right.
But yeah, I mean, we keep active. We like our house. We have a lot of people over in the backyard and stuff. You know, that's that kind of thing.
So
Nothing crazy.
you how did you come into photography? Like where did the desire come from? Kind of how did it happen?
Well, that's funny because so I went to school for design, graphic design, and photography is part of that. So,
Right.
and when I was in school, there were digital cameras. I'm not that old, but digital cameras were pretty basic back then, 2 megapixel max.
Right.
So it was really, they were still encouraging film because they really wanted you to, you know, it was like right on the cusp of everything like taking over. We had computers, we had Adobe Photoshop, a very early version of it, but I don't think everybody was on board. You know, you've got older professors and things like that, and I don't think they really thought, while they were teaching us this stuff, that it was really going to take over, and you were still going to be using film 10 years from now. Foolishly enough. So we did film, and you had to go in and develop the film in the darkroom. I hated every aspect of that. First of all, I didn't like taking pictures. Like, there wasn't really anywhere. Everybody went to the great, you know, to the cemetery and took pictures, and I was like, even at that point, I was just like, oh my god, no more cemetery pictures, please. So I didn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? It just wasn't my thing. I like to draw, I like to design stuff. So I hated photography actually. Like, even just like, I would pay people to go and develop my film because I just did not want to go in there and get chemicals and mix and I hated it. So photography wasn't really my thing. When I got out of school and went into, you know, to working in the industry, it was really just all graphic design. And
Right.
eventually there comes a point where you have to take some pictures because, you know, not every client has the budget for a professional photographer, and they just need like a quick shot of like a simple product, or you have to mock up an ad and you have to take a picture of the product for it. So I got a little more familiar with, you know, digital cameras, DSLRs and stuff at that point, but I still didn't love it. You know what I mean? I still didn't really know what I was doing, and it really kind of came about because of this stuff. Like, I picked up a camera to do other stuff, just to have vacation, not that back when we were going on vacation. And, you know, around here, there's a lot of nature places and stuff. So I thought I'd get into it that way. But then I started collecting toys, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to take some pictures and put them up on forums, you know what I mean? And show people what I got.
Right.
Like, oh, you know, just like you do, like, hey, I got this new figure. And then I started thinking like, oh, I know Photoshop. I could take pictures on like a white background and like put Han Solo and Chewbacca in front of the Millennium Falcon. You know, that'd be pretty cool. And I honestly thought that I had invented like a whole new art. Like, nobody was doing this. And then I got back on my Instagram account, which I hadn't used for like 3 or 4 years, and found out that this was a thing already and people were doing it. So, I just got really into it. I retaught myself the camera, digital camera, lighting, and really just delved into it pretty deeply. So, which is what I do. So yeah, that's
Right.
it.
Yeah. How does your wife feel about you? Not only
I am
having all the toys, but then like taking all the pictures of the toys.
Well, like in terms of the photos, she's very supportive, but I am the living embodiment of the Taika Waititi, Kate Blanchett photo. You ever see the meme where he's Taika Waititi, the director of Thor, is like showing her something on an iPad, and she's like dressed as Helena, and she's just like looking down at him like this, you know what I mean? And it's like me showing my wife my latest Lego set or something like that. It's always got some like, Mimi hat. That's me. Like she's like, I've had my own business. I've had a successful business, and she's done a lot of like entrepreneurial stuff and various successes there. But now she's like, she went to school, man. She's got an MBA. She's an executive. You know what I mean? And yeah, and I'm taking pictures of toys. So it's like it's that meme. It's that exact meme. But she's very cool. She's into like Star Wars, watching Star Wars and Marvel and stuff like that. She's not into it like I'm into it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
She's not reading comic books, or I have to sit and pause the movie and then explain to her like the entire backstory of the lore of this. Sometimes she's interested, sometimes she's not. But I mean, she's supportive of this, and it is a business now, thankfully. Because if I was down here doing this, and for a while I was, every night, and just to put on Instagram. But I mean, even at the time, she was kind of like, "Oh, how many followers you got now? Oh, that's cool." I think it's she's very supportive, but I don't think she understands it. I don't think she gets it. I had her. This is funny. So she's never like, I've shown her the pictures, but I don't like. I'm not. It's kind of like it's like worlds colliding. I kind of try and keep it separate. You know what I mean? Like, and plus, I don't want to always talk about this stuff. Like because like if we're doing something together, it's just like let's focus on that and not like hey, look what I'm doing on YouTube over here. But to the point where like she just doesn't even know what I'm doing. But I did have her watch this Ashes of Agbendor wave reveal, because she's never seen any of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like in context. Like she's seen it on my Instagram account, or I've shown her a picture or something. But she's never seen like the response to it. You know what I mean? And last year I was telling her about Legions Con. I know I'm going on for a while, but
no, go ahead. Hours, right?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
You're good.
So I told her about Legions Con, and she's like, we're in the car. She's like, so people want to take selfies with you? And I'm like, yeah, some people do. She's like, I got to see this. I got to come to this. So she may be coming this year just to check out the.
That's awesome.
Whether I'm telling the truth or not, that people are actually like what I do. But I made her sit and watch. I didn't make her. She was willing to do it. So I had her watch the Ashes of Agbendor. And, like it's cool when the photos come up. I mean, the whole thing's cool for me, but like, she's listening to a lot of, Jeremy explain the lore of the Goblins, and she's just looking at me like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? And then the photos come up, and she's like, people are excited about this? I'm like, yeah. So then the photos come up, and she's like, oh, that's really cool, and Jeremy said some nice things about him, and so that was cool. She got to kind of see it in context, which was nice. And I think she was impressed with it, but it's always a little weird. I just say I do product photography if anybody asks me at a party, you know what I mean? So because like I take pictures of toys. Sounds a little weird. But then I show them the pictures and they go, oh, that's pretty cool. Whether they collect toys or not, they're kind of into it. So, Anyway, that's a long way of going around saying, yeah, she's very supportive.
No, that's awesome because it gives us a little bit of context too, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's interesting that's like the first time that she's really, that you've sat her down and said, okay, this is what we do, and this is what I take pictures of, and for her
Yeah,
to
you know
see,
what
I
it is?
mean,
It's not an embarrassment thing, but it is like I know her and I know her level of like nerddom. Like it goes to a point, but mine goes far beyond that. You know what I
far
mean? So
beyond,
I
yeah,
figured like if she watches this, she's gonna be like looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Like what happened to you? Like because I didn't collect. I had toys when I was a kid, and I carted around comic books when we got married. I had these long boxes of comic books that I've had since I was a kid.
right.
And even with those, she was like, "What are you doing? You're carting these around. Like, why don't you just get rid of them?"
We have a bunch
I'm
of
like,
those.
"No, but my comic books." Um, Meanwhile, now I just want to get rid of them, and I can't. But yeah, I mean, like I know like her levels. So like I think if I,
Right.
just hearing about the lore and the names for the figures and stuff, I think she just thinks it's like, oh, you collect Star Wars characters and things that
Yep.
you know, that's all she knows. She came down here once, so I'm in my basement. The woman's never been in a basement of a house that we've ever lived in or looked at. Like I'm like, first thing I'm doing when we're looking at a house, I go in the basement. Like I want to see the basement, not for this reason, but for like mechanical reasons and things like that.
Right.
So she doesn't. But when we were at the second Legion's Con, there was a tornado warning. She just texted me like, we have to go. I have to take the dogs in the basement, and I'm just thinking, dogs in the basement. Oh God, okay. I wasn't even thinking about her. And then I was like, oh, okay, all right, yes, I'm very concerned about the dogs. Yes. Safety first. So she brings the dogs down here, and then she just texts me like 10 minutes later. I get a text is like, "Wow, you got a lot of stuff down here." Like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's all okay. It's okay.
But she's good with it. She knows I'm responsible, and I don't think I'm responsible, but she thinks I'm responsible anyway. I don't know.
As long as she thinks that. Kevin,
Yeah.
That's what
Kevin,
matters.
yeah, Kevin was taking me to comic book conventions like when we were young and dating. I mean, like I would walk behind him at comic book conventions, and he would buy from one seller and sell to another, vendor. And I mean, he was up on all of it. He knew all the stuff, and I would just,
Mm-hmm.
just follow behind him, and this is good, this is good.
Yep.
And it really wasn't until Legion's Con when we first went. I guess that was 2022. That things changed because I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now I have the show, and he's like,
I know.
knows who I am, and nobody knows.
Well, I will say like I said, like I think she might come in. I'm trying to figure out what day. I think probably like I don't know. See, I want her to come in like during the reveal for the new wave, so that she
Oh,
could
yeah.
see the pictures and people's reactions to the stuff. But I don't know how bored she would be, and I do kind of want her to see the floor because the whole thing is the artwork and all the people doing the customs and stuff like that, which I really
That's
want her
true.
to see.
Right.
So, but going on that, she's not into this, but she's a lovely woman, and I have a sinking feeling that I will become one of those guys who's like, I'll have to join the club of men whose wives are more popular than they are in Legions. So I'm a little worried about that.
That's funny. Oh, so if you had to choose something different to do, like if you could choose to do anything in the world and it could not be photography, what would you choose?
Well, I mean, I don't think I would love the science of it and all that stuff, but ever since Star Wars came out when I was a kid, I still want to do this, and I told my wife, and she's okay with it. I want to go into space. I just want to get I'm hoping that they'll ramp this stuff up where they're starting to take passengers, and you can whatever it costs. If I have to sell all this stuff, like to go, for a half an hour into space, I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. I want to go into space. So I would probably be somebody, an astronaut or something that could do that. I don't think it would be a fun job, but I just want to be in space. So, other than that, if from a fun standpoint, I would love to be a director. You know what I mean? Like, again, going back to that, like just, or somebody involved in creating stories and filming stories. If it's not a director, it'd be I'm an okay writer, but I don't think I could write a whole script. But something, if I had the ability to do that, I would love to do that. That would be cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, you have several YouTube shows that you do.
Too many.
So one is Legion's Lounge, every other Monday, and you have 2 co-hosts. And then you have Photo Bomb, BOM, is that right?
Yep, Toy Photo Bomb, which is best of the month, roughly. And that's something I started like about 6 months ago. It's fun. Like, it's just me and one other toy photographer that I choose, and we both go through a month's worth of, as we're searching through Instagram or whatever, we'll mark photos that we really like or think that stand out, and then we pare it down to like about 5 or 6 each, and then go through them, and it's just all like praise. It's just all like looking at great photos and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun in that respect. But that's just once a month, which is good.
Okay. And then do you have any other shows?
Yeah, the 1/6-pack, which is like the like, I love it because you can see behind me, and my name, reflects, my handle reflects the 1/6. That's what I started collecting and photographing. So I still collect them, and I love to talk about them. And, my friends Tom and TJ are great. It's not the most widely watched show on the channel, partially because we're very all over the place. It's kind of like one of those shows that we know that Legion's Lounge is almost like I'm going to disappoint about 120 to 50 people if I don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I've said, I've canceled shows, and I get people going, "No, what am I going to do tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, there's other things on TV. I mean, it's not even that great." Please, there's better entertainment, believe me. But the 1/6-pack, we have a core group of fans, and we have not been able to expand it beyond that. But it's a good show. Like, if you're even semi-interested in 1/6 figures, come and check it out. And then I do a guest on a show, Maz's Toy Box, on YouTube, and every Tuesday at 6:00, we critique photos, like toy photos for people. So it's more of a critique show. It's more you're putting your work up there to be looked at and kind of figure out what you could do better and things like that, which is fun. It's rewarding when you see people improving along the lines and stuff. But again, like we were saying before the show, like it's every other Monday, it's every Tuesday. Sometimes it's a Wednesday. Sometimes I'm guesting on a Thursday or Friday. And it's like, my wife is like, I don't even know what to call it. It's the weirdest thing. We call it a thing. She just says it's a thing. You got a thing tonight? Like, I don't know. It's like, is it a show? Is it a podcast? Is it I don't know. It's a thing. So whatever.
It's a thing. I got a thing tonight.
It's a thing. Yeah, I got a thing tonight. Yeah.
Well, we are very excited that you joined our thing tonight.
I know, me too. And she's got stuff to do, so she doesn't care. So that's good.
So, is the 1/6 or the 1/6-pack or whatever, is that your first show? Like, is that your first YouTube show?
Yeah, that was something that carried over from there was a magazine called Exclu Collective, which admittedly now was not a great title. It wasn't my title, but I did work for the magazine, and it was kind of a toy magazine, and it kind of was the whole idea was to feature toy photography, good toy photography. And I don't think it took off because I just don't think the name really said anything about. Whereas, you've got this now coming out, which is, hello, toy photographer. I mean, you can't, like, that's what it is. You know what you're getting.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we would have been better off if we had called it toy photography or something. But we started a YouTube channel for the magazine, and that's when I started the 1/6 pack. So we're technically on, well, I guess I carried that over. So we're almost we're in the 80s now, or 80s or 90s or something in shows, and that's after taking like a year off of not doing it at all. So we've been doing it a long time. We've been doing it like 3 or 4 years. So yeah, I just got to promote it better. It's tough. It's a lot of competition.
So when did you start like Legion's Lounge? What made you kind of decide to start doing the Legion's show?
So that started as an Instagram show with just me and Nate. It was called Mythic Mondays, obviously before Cosmic came out. And it was just going to be Instagram. We were just going to get together and talk about, when a wave came out, maybe get a guest. Funny enough, I think Bill was one of our first guests, either our first show or a second show. And yeah, it was just kind of informal. I mean, the IG lives are a little rough.
Right.
But it was, I mean, we had a lot of fun doing it. So it's like, hey, maybe we just move this over to YouTube. I decided to do a YouTube channel for the photography stuff. And I thought that would be a good fit. So yeah, that was that.
Awesome. And then where did the name Legion's Lounge come from?
I pulled it out of the air, and it just kind of, we started, like I said, we started out as Mythic Mondays, and we were going to stick to Mondays, but at that point, I think I either knew, or it had been hinted at, or I can't remember the timeline, but we knew that there was going to be more than just Mythic. Maybe Figura Obscura had come out, or maybe Cosmic. I'm misremembering the timeline, but either way, I knew it was going to be more than just Mythic. So we decided to stick with the Legions, and I don't know. It's felt like someplace to hang out. I've always been like my taste in music is eclectic, but I've always loved the Rat Pack and Frank Sinatra and stuff like that. So I don't know, just felt like the right thing. Hanging out at the lounge, you know what I mean? You go to the lounge, hang out, talk about some Legions. Yeah.
That's cool. I love it. What has been your favorite part about doing your Legion's Lounge?
Oh, so many good parts about that. I mean, getting to hang out with Nate and Bill, and just meeting people, like bringing people on the show, like we mixed it up for Father's Day and brought 3 people that we'd never had on the show. A couple I've never met, you know what I mean? Like never talked to directly. And I love that, you know what I mean? Like I know, the Legion's Lair guys kind of focus on that and bringing like one person at a time from the Cabal, and, they've got an endless supply of people there because we have like 5,000 people in the Cabal now. So, which is great. We're trying to do more of a theme and stuff like that sometimes. Not that that's better or worse. It's just that, we got to fit people into it. You know what I mean? So, we haven't had as many. The road to Legions Con is kind of when we get people on that we try to get new vendors in, although I think this year it's going to be a lot of the same vendors. But people that we haven't had on before, you know what I mean? Just talking to people. And hey, getting to I know all those guys. I talk to them all the time, but just getting, CB on and Eric on, just to, talk about some deeper stuff, that we don't, necessarily get to just talk to about them while we're shooting the breeze or when I'm in the studio for, a half an hour or whatever. That's been great. And the people who show up, man. I mean, everybody, you guys, everybody who's in the chat now generally just makes it. You know what I mean? Like the fact that we can get over 100 people almost every show, and people are engaged and talking and, super chatting and stuff. It's It's awesome, man. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I tell my wife, like this is my social. I mean, I know it's all virtual,
Right.
but I do actually know these people. I've seen them in the
Right.
flesh, so they are my friends, and it's not just some weird, whatever. It's this is what I'm doing, and it's fun. It's great that we can do that every other Monday. It's nice and
Yeah.
talk about
And
stuff that we love.
right, right. And when you're not on, just so you know, I feel it too, because every single night of the week I'm looking for Legion stuff to watch. What
I know
has
the feeling
been,
because there are shows that I watch all the time, and if it's not on, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay, what am I gonna do now?
I know. What comes on if I'm not watching a Legion show?
I know it's sick. I really need a break from YouTube. It really is. And yes, Curtis said Trevor really means to say the getting to know me was the best part. Is absolutely the truth. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. His pet name for me is Super Chat. I can't have Super Chats on here, though.
Got to start taking super chat IOUs, basically.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
no.
So we talked about the best thing about having a YouTube channel. What is the worst thing about having a YouTube channel?
I think like any social media thing. I mean, there are times, honestly, like once it comes down to getting in front of the computer and the camera and all that stuff and doing it, it's always fun. It's always fun. But there are times when you're just like, oh, either I don't have any ideas for this coming week, or there's just not much to talk about, or whatever. We always find something, and we always have great guests that we end up talking about great stuff, so it's fine. And it's usually not Legion's Lounge in that respect, and usually not the 1 6-pack either. The main thing is like any other social media thing, when you're involved in trying to make it, and you guys know this now at this point, you want to see some growth. Like you just want to
Right.
you know what I mean? But that takes a lot of work. I mean, the people who are getting great growth are putting out videos every other day or shorts, which I hate doing reels on Instagram,
Right.
like taking,
Yeah.
B-roll footage of my behind the scenes and then editing it all together. It's like, at some point I got to have a life, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
I just don't on YouTube, but I want to focus more on it and get it growing even more. But it's gets to be almost a full-time job, and it's not a job, it's not paying any
Right.
bills. So like
Right.
got to draw the line somewhere. Instagram is my bread and butter. So like, I really can't, I can't dedicate too much more time to it, unfortunately, but, I don't know, maybe someday.
Gotcha. And all right. So you, as an adult, started collecting the 1/6 scale. What got you into that scale? What was like the first figures that you went, oh my God, I've got to have these?
First, you can't see it. The first two, I thought they were in shot. So the first two figures were, so Force Awakens was just announced, or the new Star Wars had just been announced. And they've had 1/6 Star Wars before, but it was older and it was not very well done.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just kind of basic stuff. So they started coming out with the A New Hope, the original trilogy stuff. So, Han Solo and Chewbacca were the first two that I got. I went down to this local store near me and picked them up. And the intention was simply just to have two of my favorite characters, just put them on my desk. I had friends who I'd worked with at like ad agencies that had like a lot of them, that collected them deeply. And, at the time I was looking at them like, and they were only like $170 then, or something like $150 then. And I was still like, wow, $150. You're paying $150 for a doll? What's wrong with you?
Right.
But then you get them and you're like, oh, these are really cool. My intention was just to have those two, and like, that'll be cool. It'll put them on my desk. It'll be a representation of my love of Star Wars. And then, you just sit there looking at them and you go, it'd be great to have Luke Skywalker too. You really got to have Luke Skywalker, right? I mean, it's kind of the star of the whole thing. You really got to have Luke. And if you're going to have Luke, you got to have Darth Vader. And the droids. I mean, the droids are like the biggest part of the. So then it's like 2 turns into 7, turns into 9, turns into 20, turns into 300. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's nuts. So
Yes.
yeah. Like any collection, it quickly gets out of hand.
Yeah.
That's what I dropped. So yeah, that's how that happened. When I'm looking around right now, I don't know how this happened. I'm not really sure how this happened. It's a little nuts. Yeah, there are things that I'm looking very. I'm looking really closely at the stuff that I have now, and even stuff that I'm picking up. I'm really slowing down on picking up stuff, and even looking at stuff, and like ancillary characters that were in like The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? I'm like, do I need that character? I mean, it was, they died. It was only one season. I don't really need that, on my shelf. So I'm trying to pare down and just get the essential stuff that I really, really like, or that's representational. But it's tough. It's tough to get rid of stuff sometimes.
It is. It's very hard because I've got one of those that doesn't like to get rid of that stuff either. So, where did Mythic come in? When did you get involved with Mythic Legions and Four Horsemen and all that stuff?
So I'd already started the toy photography. I started that about 2016. And then not long after that, probably the end of 2016, early 2017, I started seeing pictures of the birds, Ethron's Dozen, and some knights, because I think 1.0 had just come out at that point, or maybe it was 1.5. I know I had missed 1.0 by like a couple years or a year or so. And I was just like, whoa. So some people I knew who were toy photographers, I'm like, what are these things? Like, there's knights. Where are you getting knights? What is that? Like, 'cause this was kind of like I was just getting back into toys, so I wasn't like, I was familiar with Black Series, you know what I mean? That's Star Wars. It's in Target, you see all that, Marvel Legends and things like that. And the hot toys were my thing. So I wasn't really paying attention to NECA and any of that stuff around then. So third party, forget about it. Really kind of out of my periphery. I was just kind of delving into seeing new things and like, oh, what's this? So I was like, whoa, there's knight figures. I gotta have knight figures. Like, that's all I've wanted since I was a kid. And like, oh my God, they have skeletons. And like, like watching like Sinbad, as cheesy as that was as a kid, like, and as old as it was even back then, it was cool, fighting skeletons. Oh my God. Yeah, I gotta have these things. So that was it, man. I went onto the site. I waited for the next like in-stock sale. And that was when I ended up accidentally getting 3 Keltises. Because if anybody was around back then, like the in-stock sale was like, you just click, you click, you click, and go. Just get out. Like, I don't even know what I got because it's going to be gone. Like, it's going to be gone. So, and the site would refresh or it would crash. It was a mess. This is pre-Jeremy, but it was a mess. It was awful. So you just took what you could get. So I was like, I was ready to check out. I'm like, oh, I got 3 of that guy. I don't want 3 of that guy. I'm like, screw it. I just got to check out. So I ended up getting 3 Keltises, which proved to be pretty good later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I opened that up, that Keltis was the first one I opened up. Hooked. Like anybody says, like, right, you open one up, you hand one to somebody, they're like, whoa, this is so cool, and they're so much better now. But yeah, I was totally hooked, and I love fantasy art. It's always been like a thing since I was a kid, like Frank Frazetta, Boris Vallejo, album covers. That's another thing I wanted to do, just like cool rock, heavy metal album covers. So I loved all that stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is it, man. This is my line now. This is all I'm going to collect.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but I went and I loaded up on these figures, man, and I was all about them. And so started taking pictures of them, and the one that kind of, I don't know if I can even go back and find it at this point, but there's one where there's an orc, one of the orc builders, I think from Siege of Bjorngar, or no, what what's the one I'm forgetting? Anyway, sitting on a throne in a diorama that I had made. And I went to New Jersey Toy Con because I knew the Four Horsemen were going to be there. And that was like nirvana then. Like the figures on the table, people would die. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
and there were,
Yeah.
even at the time, there were even older figures still on the table then. And I know I passed some up foolishly because it was only cash. And
Right.
I brought a wad of
Yeah.
cash, but then I was like, I need that. I guess I can skip that. I wish I hadn't.
Yeah.
So I just started talking, and these guys are so nice and so friendly, as we
Right.
all know. They're
Yeah.
just like so approachable. But I was nervous. Like I went there under the guise of interviewing them for this magazine that I was telling you about earlier. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, I love your stuff. I take pictures of it. And I showed Eric Treadaway the picture of the arc. He's like, oh, that's you. Yeah, that's a great shot. I was like, oh my God, this is, wow. That's nice. Cool. I just ended up talking to him for a while and, about the line, about the stuff. And again, they'll just sit there and talk to you.
Right.
And then they invited me to G-Con for Aerithir, the reveal of Aerithir. It was the same one that Jeremy was at. Joe Vasapolo, as when he was a customizer before he was working for the studio, he was invited. So that's how we all got to know each other. And at that show, Jeremy got talking to him about their website needing to be better, and I got talking to him about their photography needing to be better. And to their credit, they fully realized that. That's one of the things that
Right.
people say about them. They know what their limitations are, and they will hire the best people. Nate Barch, everybody that's working in their painters. Cameron,
Right.
Sherry, and Joe. They're like, you know what you're doing. Go for it. We don't know what we're doing here. We need help. And that was that. That was that. We started taking some pictures of some of the waves that were coming out, and it worked out, and it's been great.
That's awesome.
Got lucky. Made it happen to some degree, but got lucky as well. You know what I mean? That there wasn't somebody there
Right.
before me or, whatever. So, but just, sometimes you got to make
So-
something happen and get in a little luck as well. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're doing the book now. So you're going back and photographing like all of the figures that you didn't have. Like
Yep.
some of the wave one that you missed out on or whatever. What is it? Have you like gotten some of those in, and like what's kind of I guess
that's
some of the grails? Like, I think to myself, to be able to hold this figure and you're like, oh, because it was
Yeah.
the first one. So I can't imagine like you're taking pictures for this book and stuff. How cool would that be? I mean,
yeah, again, I'm a completist, so I won't go nuts, and I'm not just going to like throw, it's not throwing money out the window, but there are some that have been stupid. Like, again, sometimes you get somebody that hooks you up. I still credit Joe Gonsalves for hooking me up with Etheron at a
Right.
great, very reasonable price. Awesome.
right.
Otho, I paid some money for Otho, but not, stupid, crazy, like, oh my God, you did what money? But
Right.
I mean, for the average person to look at it and go, what the hell is wrong with you? But I had to have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I'm missing 5. I think I'm at this point. I realized in doing this that there was a couple that I thought I had that I didn't have. So I think I'm only missing 5. So for the most part, I'm using my figures. They were willing to send me all the figures, and I'm like, I don't even know where I would put all those figures.
Right.
And I've got them all. So what's the point? You know what I mean? Like so now I just have to go through. I've put some custom capes on things, and I put some different weapons with certain ones. So I have to really kind of pay attention to what came with the figure and make sure I'm checking
Right.
it out. A couple times I actually messed up with one recently with a weapon, but it's been fun. you know, I mean, you kind of have to get these things back into a natural stance after you've been playing with them. They're not fresh out of the package or anything like that.
Right.
But it is a lot, man. There's a lot of them. There's a lot. I still think I think I'm in 50 plus at this point. I still have to go, and I've been cranking through them. So
Wow.
the problem is Ashes of Agbendor comes along, and
Yeah.
I only have one table, you know, to put stuff on. So if I'm doing an environment shot, it's a diorama, it's taken over. That setup for those turns takes up the whole table. So I have to break it down, put up the diorama shot, shoot, you know, and sometimes I'll get them piecemeal, you know what I mean? Like they'll send me a few, I'll shoot the turns for that, and then they'll send me like 3 more, and then I have to break down whatever I'm doing, set up for that again. So it's, you know, I wish I had 2 tables that I could just set up one thing and the other, but I don't at the moment. I'm hoping I could do that in the future. But yeah, it's you know, it's a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, 50, but it's a lot. It takes a lot of time to get those things, even just in a stock, a natural standard standing pose.
Right.
You know, knees locked, ankles in the right direction, wrists. You know, make sure the gauntlets are facing the right direction.
Right
make
way,
sure the
yeah.
torso's lined up. That's a good 10, 15 minutes sometimes just to get it into that position. You know what I mean? And set it up and then get it
Right.
lit. It's like, yeah.
But that's what makes your photos so amazing is the attention to detail.
Yeah, I try. I am cranking through these, so you may find occasionally that a gauntlet is twisted a little bit. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can, but I am like really running through these things quickly. So you know, it's going to be a cool book to have, though. Like, you know, just to see all the stuff that comes with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
sure.
the 5 that you do not have, the 5 that you personally do not have, they're going to send you those to photograph.
Yeah, so there are some that I do have. Like I have the Silver Dwarf, but it's sealed, you know, and that's the bags that didn't have the little zip at the top. So
Right.
I don't want to rip. I'm not like an inbox collector. Normally, I take everything out, but I bought a lot of the older stuff. Like Otho was repacked. You know, it was already open. So
Right.
if it hadn't been, I would be a little leery about opening up the bag. Maybe I probably would anyway, but there's one, like I have what's his name? Sir Valgard. So he was the Kickstarter only figure from the 1.0, and I won him. This was even before I had met those guys. I did a Christmas card. They had a card contest. Sent it to them. And I won the contest, and won Sir Valgard, which is, at the time, didn't even really mean as much to me. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was like unique and it was an exclusive or something, but like I didn't know how exclusive. So now that's like I had them autograph it. That doesn't come out of the box, so they're gonna have to send me Sir Valgard if they want that photographed, because that's not in the box.
No, don't blame you there. Awesome.
So yeah, they'll send me those. Yeah.
Out of all the figures that Four Horsemen has put out,
oh god,
that's Mythic, Cosmic, Figure Obscura. Do you have a favorite? Yeah. Who is it?
That's so hard because it's really hard. I mean, my default would be, you know, as you know from your ranking show, I pull hard for Hadriana. You know what I mean? Being Magnus's boss and all. Yeah, I'm a feminist. No, I just dig her. I love her mask and stuff. And when that came out, that was a very unique thing. And I just like the look of her face. It's unique, and she's got this really tough looking scowl. I love, you know what I mean? I've always loved, like, again, I love fantasy art. I love, not necessarily the barbarian women with no armor on, but like, I love fantasy women, you know what I mean? Like, it's just been a thing. Like, it's just, they're the subject of a lot of this stuff, and not in an exploitative way, but just, you know, cool looking, like badass fantasy women. Like Hadriana is a badass. Hadriana is a badass. But I do love the Skellies. I do love Artemis Silvercord a lot. I know you love Artemis Silvercord, especially the two version.
Yes.
Sold me
Oh
on her,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But I like me some Skellies, and I have a feeling that even though like Army of Laodiceus is my favorite, I'll say it's my favorite good faction, light faction. Necronominus is definitely my favorite, dark faction. And man, when those new figures come out, I don't even know what to tell you because Belualith might be my new girl, and the Terpiculi might be my new favorite figure. I'm not really sure, but we'll have to see.
That's awesome.
It's tough to pick. It's tough to pick.
It's tough.
But I would.
Tough. There's
So many.
That's 3 or 4.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. What is your favorite, like, to photograph? I mean, if you were, choosing, I know that you said that you really liked the, fantasy genre, but you started with sci-fi, Star Wars, so Cosmic's got your sci-fi, and then, Figure Obscura is, just the odd man out over here. Like, if you could choose, would you do, like which is your favorite to photograph? Would it be Mythic, Cosmic, or Figure Obscura, do you think?
So if we're strictly sticking to genre, fantasy, I think, takes over at this point. Like, I would say late in life, although I read Lord of the Rings when I was in my 20s. Like, it wasn't like something I read as a kid. It's a hard read as a kid, though. I mean, I don't know how many little kids under the age of 20 read Lord of the Rings. But, I mean, those movies came out, and I still think that's the best trilogy ever. While I never really played until now, I studied the D&D books like they were, religious texts. So I love fantasy, and it's just
Right.
I don't know. There's something about the array of characters and the tropes, the orcs, the skeletons, the goblins. I just love. I do love sci-fi too. I think I don't know. I just something about fantasy. However, if we're talking about strictly figures and mythic legions and which ones, like when I'm shooting for the 4 horsemen, get me going, it's Figure Obscura. I gotta say, like the diversity and the challenge, and when I get it, like, oh, okay, this is going to be something completely different. Jacob
Right.
Marley, like wildly different than anything I've ever done. The Bastet
Photograph
and
of him
Anubis.
floating. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
I mean,
God.
getting to do stuff like that is like, and
Yeah.
they're generally 90% production figures,
Yeah.
so they're not falling apart on me. They're not breaking.
Right.
I'm not gluing them. I'm not. Yeah. So strictly from a pleasure angle, and it's a lot more fun, and I really get inspired by that because you can put them into crazy positions like the Monkey King and stuff like that, and to get them into different. So those are a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, if I had to like just pick a genre, I would stick to fantasy probably. Yeah.
So your Mythic Legions collection, because you're a completist, you're only missing 5 of all of them.
Yep.
That is crazy to me. Like that
It
is
it is stupid, actually. Is what it is.
that is crazy.
Because like, Attila, like that Attila version 2 is spectacular. I had to have Attila version 1 though. Now, to be fair, I got Attila version 1 way before they even announced Attila version 2. But even knowing that the gold skeleton was coming out, and I asked Jeremy this, I did go and recently buy the gold skeleton 1, the first version, which isn't nearly as nice looking as the version 2 version, but I just had to have it. It pains me to have to buy, and this is what they say too, right? Like some of these basic figures, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, Sir... thankfully they came out with Sir Godfrey, with the mystery pack recently, and I managed to get one of those because it's another Templar Knight with a different, some different highlights and a red
Right.
plume, and it's like I'm not paying $200 for that figure. You know what I mean?
I
I
know.
can't bring myself to do it. So it might have been one of those figures that I just never had, or I had to wait for somebody to be very kind and generous and say, like, I'll sell it to you for $100 or something. But thankfully they came out with that one. Now I'm still waiting for Sir Galaron, which is a difficult one to get,
Yeah.
and very expensive, and again just so basic that I can't spend $700 on this thing. It's just nuts.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
can't remember what else. I think Silver Knight, another one. It's just like such a basic figure, but
Yeah.
It's hard. I recommend to everyone not to go into this line. I hear a lot of people, because I'm on a lot of shows in chats,
Right.
and I see people who are outside of our Cabal life here, and
Right.
they're like, yeah, I'd love to get into Mythic Legions, but there's just too many of them and I can't go back and they're too expensive to get into. I'm like, don't worry about it. Just get stuff now, because the older stuff is coming out. They're redoing stuff. There's better versions of orcs and goblins now. Just get the stuff that's coming out now. You don't have to worry about having everything from the line.
Right.
I say that as an idiot who has to have everything from the line. But
So I see the shelving behind you. Is that the same type of shelving that you've got your collection on for Four Horsemen?
yeah, those are directly across from me, and I have one. So I have one, two. So I've broke them up into factions. I've kind of got like the Motu stuff. I'm not a big fan of the Motu stuff, but it's nice. I mean, I like the figures. I'm not a big
Right.
Motu fan, so I put that stuff over with my test shot collection and the figure Obscura. Then I've got Leodicius. I've got Aetheron underneath that, and then 3 big shelves are Cosmic. Arethyr. Arethyr takes up. It's one of these wide shelves. Well, you can't really see
Yeah.
it. It's one of these wide shelves. So Arethyr
Right.
takes up that whole thing. It's packed to the gills. And
I
then I
bet.
have Necronominus and the vampires, I think, on one shelf, and then I've got a whole shelf of my my Fury Orcs. So my Fury Orcs are things that it includes the Furious Four, but I've customized a bunch of Fury Orcs, and then anybody who knows me at Legion's Con, like, I go around like buying people's Fury Orc customs, and I tell people to make
Right.
Fury Orc customs for me to buy. So I've got a lot of the customizers in the group. I got a lot of their representation on that shelf with Fury Orcs, which I really love. That's probably one of my favorite shelves. So yeah, I gotta make more shelves, man. I'm out of
Yeah.
room. I'm really out of room. I really don't know where things are gonna go. Outpost Zaxius is I'm just like moving things around so that they sort of fit in there, but I don't know where the hell these next Cosmic
Yeah.
Legions are gonna go. No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin and I are redoing the office, and we're like, this is such a small room. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, I'm eyeing the Black Series over here right now. I'm like, I think I'm not a person that I don't like putting things in bins. I'm like either gonna probably sell some, or I don't know. I'll probably put them in storage or something. But like, I need that space. That's good.
Right. So outside of Four Horsemen, I know that you've done some photography, specifically like
Frazetta
you
Girls?
did it for the Frazetta Girls, yeah, and you've done some other photography for some other toy lines as well.
Yep.
Did they come to you and ask you, hey, can you do these photographs? How did that come about?
Yeah, right after Mythic Legions, one of the first things was a company called QMX, who did 1/6 stuff, and it was a guy I kind of knew from some of the forums, and he was working with him as a marketing person, so he wanted somebody who could shoot 1/6 figures correctly. They were doing Star Trek stuff, so I shot a handful of those, and it's cool because the photos that I took are on the boxes for the figures, which is really cool. I can't really get rid of them. I can't get rid of those because I want to keep the box. You know what I mean? So that was fun. Difficult. 1/6 is difficult because again, like you need bigger and bigger sets, or you need to be a lot more creative with that stuff, or you have to do a lot more compositing in Photoshop, which I'm good at, but I don't love to do. So I'm not really doing any 1/6 stuff anymore. AWOC, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I mean, Jason came to me obviously after I had been doing some Mythic Legion stuff, and he just, he likes the style. That's what he wanted. And I try to approach all these things, and then the Frazetta girls were like, that was nuts, man. Like, I mean, I've conversed with Sarah Frazetta, here and there, and but just being remotely associated with Frank Frazetta,
I know
it's a stupid thing because it's just you're just taking pictures of the figure, but I don't care. Like it's close enough to greatness for me that I'm thrilled.
No.
But I try to approach each one of these like a little differently because it's like, I have a graphic design, marketing company too, my own thing that I've been doing for years and years. And like, when you have to like, do another site for a law firm, and you've done a site for a law firm, you've got to try to approach it from a different, like what makes your law firm unique, and let's like bring that across. So that's what I'm trying to do for these guys. Like with the Frazetta stuff, I try to bring the Frazetta look across. And with AWOC, I take a little more of a brightly colored, cartoony take on stuff. And then with the Mythics, I really, it's kind of like my fantasy style or cosmic style. So it's difficult though, because they're all very similar. They're all very similar products. And I'm doing some stuff for Brutal Realm too, which is going to come out pretty soon, those are really cool figures too. It's been great. It's been great. Like it's getting to the point where I have to tell people when they're like, hey, I'm sending you a couple figures. Can you shoot them by this weekend? I gotta be like, no, man, you gotta give me like a 2-week lead at this point. Like I'm backed up, buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which is good. It's kind of a good place to be, I guess. Yeah.
It's a great place to be. Yeah. How far out? I know that Jeremy has said every once in a while that you get figures are right about the time it's time.
Not far enough. That's your answer, right there. These guys, man. Like, I want Legions Con stuff now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Legions Con stuff comes to you, what, couple weeks before Legions Con?
Oh my God. So the first Cosmic Wave was, first of all those were prototype figures, brand new stuff. And you see how crazy, forearms and, like nuts stuff. It's all just like resin pieces that didn't want to stay together, didn't want to hold up. I'm, wrapping medical tape around the joints and, stuffing them in there and stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I got that shot where it's like Slog in the background and the two Sphex in front of him, and I just see like I'm behind the camera, and I just see Slog start to go like, I'm like, no, God, no, because you've played with the Sphex, you know how in production they're like. Not fiddly, but like it's a lot of, the little arms and stuff. Yeah. Imagine those where like nothing wants to stay together and the wings are snapping and, I'm like, oh my God, it was nuts, man. And then like I just got them done and literally had to overnight them to, where were they, in California for, I think PowerCon was in California. Had to pack them all up nice and tight because they had to travel from New York to California like overnight. And yeah, it was way too close. It's just cutting it way too close. So
Joe Vassapolo says, on that note, sending 3 early next week. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, I got one today, so I don't even know what's coming next week. Good Lord.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, the answer is I know how it goes. Like, this is the job, right? This is the business. This is how it goes. I wish we had more lead time, but I get it, and I make it work. And yeah, sometimes things get broken, Joe. Sorry, not sorry. Moving fast.
So I would guess then, because they don't give you a whole lot of lead time.
Not always,
I have
but
watched,
sometimes,
I have watched you, especially like during like the figure obscura reveals, when you guys are watching as they're revealing, and you're very calm. You know what's coming, and your face is pretty calm or whatever until they do it. But how hard is that? I mean, for you to know what's coming, and you've got to be like so excited. And I know you've said on several shows that, you know, you've just learned not to talk about it, because if you don't say anything to anybody, there's, you know, no way that you're going to say it. But how hard is that?
That's the job, man. I mean, that's all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, even, you know, the Brutal Realm guys have already said something about me doing it, but even before they said something, I wasn't even telling people that I was working on them. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if they want people to know that or not. Like, you just got to shut up and do your job and just not talk about it. Now, I have a show that I want to speculate on and talk to people about what might be coming. So I tend to not until I get them, which is, there are certain things I know that are coming up that I, again, like when I need a diorama, like for the Egyptian, you know, figures, like I need to know that ahead of time, because I got to give somebody, as much as Josh Green comes through with me on dioramas in like, you know, 3 weeks time, I can't always do that. Like, I've got to have some time to get like what I need to do good pictures. But as far as like keeping, I have a pretty good poker face, as I think you said, in terms of keeping that quiet. So if somebody starts talking about stuff that I know, I could play along. You know what I mean? Like Ashes of Agamdor, everybody was like talking about the dragon. Oh, maybe it's the dragon. And I was on a couple of shows where I'm just like, okay, if it was the dragon, what would the dragon mean at this point? Like, what would it be? Like, I'm just trying to, like, you know, like, just like, let's work this out. Because I almost want to tell them, because that's the hard. Okay, so that's the hardest part. Like you said, so I like knowing, and it's like having a kid at Christmas. You know what's in the box, and you know when they open it, their eyes are going to light up. And I like seeing people go, "Oh, damn, wow," you know. So that's cool. Yeah. That's fun to see people do that. But it's the times when people start speculating, and like they're like, "Oh, I bet you we're getting like 17 version 2 figures and a dragon." And I'm like, "Okay, you're setting yourself up for disappointment right now." Like, and I want to just say, let's dial it back. Maybe it's not it, but I got to be careful what I say, because I don't want to A, stifle anybody's excitement, B, tell people what's not coming. You know what I mean? I can't say no, that's not going to happen, unless the Four Horsemen say that's not going to happen. So, you know, I mean, just asking people, like, what would you want? What would a dragon mean at this point? You know what I mean? Like, like how would that work into the story? And like, then make them think about it a little bit. Like, oh, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe they're not going to do a dragon yet. You know, so anyway. But it's kind of hard, more on the show than anything else. But I'll be honest, like at this point, like even when I take the stuff out, people ask me, "Oh, hey, does that color match X? Or do you know if that was a new belt?" I'm like, dude, it was like, I didn't look that close. I got him standing up. I took the shot. I figured out how to light it. I don't know if it was a new belt or not, to be honest. Like, I'll look at the pictures. I just don't know. You know, can you tell me if that back flap was the I don't know, man. I don't know. You're going to have to look at the pictures, honestly. Because there's not that much time, like we just said. Like, there's not a lot of time to really study them. I know that, like, if anybody was doing this as a customizer, would be like, that's what they'd be doing. Just studying every part. Oh, my God, that's a new wrist gauntlet. That comes off of there. That's, you know, that's, I don't know. I just got to get it done. So, no.
Just got to take pictures and get it out.
Exactly.
So, if there is there a dream company that you would like to take photographs of their stuff? I mean, anything that stands out to you?
I'm doing it, man. I mean, Mythic Legions, honestly, it's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love all the companies I do stuff for. And I mean, the Frazetta girls was like, because it's Frazetta, they're great figures. I love the figures. I would collect them even if I wasn't shooting them. and they're beautiful, but and I love AWOC. Like Animal Warriors of the Kingdom was something that I was on the Kickstarter before they asked me to do the photographs. So I love those too. And Brutal Realm, I was interested in. So I don't know if I'm manifesting this, but like it's been great so far. Honestly, like Hot Toys are kind of a pain. So I don't really know if I'd really want to do. It'd be interesting to do Hot Toys, but I've kind of done the 1/6 stuff, and I kind of like 1/12. Maybe Joy Toy. It's not a dream. Like,
Yeah.
Again, I'm living the
Right.
dream kind of, but like
Right.
I've done stuff for Hasbro, like on a assignment basis, so I've kind of gotten that out of my system. Joy Toy I like a lot. I like those Joy Toy figures. So maybe that,
Okay.
be kind of fun.
All right. You have been very gracious to us and have.
I want Amber to ask
offered-
me a question.
She's going to.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got the. Oh, yeah. She's got the. Yeah. She's got the personal
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna get real personal here in just a minute.
Okay. But I'm sorry.
Before
Yes.
we do that, yes, you have been very gracious and have offered a print, one of the
Yes.
prints that you have available for us to give away
Yep.
on the show today.
Yep.
So if you are in the comments, or you are in the show whatsoever, and you want to comment, Trevor is going to give away
Yeah, anything you want that I have, and I'll, anybody who wins, I can tell you what I've got on hand, and you can have anything you want.
Okay. So let me share this. We are going to start collecting.
And if you don't have a calendar, if you're one of those people, I'll send you one of those too.
Love your calendar.
All right. Hashtag Trevor is awesome.
Sounds like a song.
I know. Trevor is awesome. Trevor is awesome. All right. So Trevor is going to give away one of his prints. Hashtag Trevor is awesome. You guys put the hashtag in, and then when you win, get in touch with Trevor, and he will let you know what he's got and what he can send to you. And he is very, very gracious in offering this to us, and we are super excited. Okay, so we're going to stop sharing this right now. I am going to put this over in the corner so everybody knows. Keep doing that.
Trevor is a Weesum. That's your.
No, Trevor is awesome. One last question. Legion's Con this year, you are going to bring prints again. You're going to have your calendar. Yep. Anything new, different, awesome that you're going to do this year, that you're going to have this year?
I don't want to say just yet, but I've got an idea for something that I'm going to try. I will have the mouse pads, which were insanely popular last year. I just got a few of those done, and I was like, they were gone on pretty much almost all of them on day one. So like, I'm going to bring a few more of those, some different ones.
Okay.
I didn't think people wanted mouse pads anymore. I was thinking maybe bookmarks or something. I don't know. I think there's probably a lot of readers. So, some character bookmarks or something like that. Okay. And there's something else that somebody had posted about that I looked into, and I could actually make something I might talk about the Four Horsemen about actually like branding. But if they're not into it, then I'll just do it with my work anyway, because I just want to see how it would work. It's going to be interesting. We'll see. It's going to be the experiment of this year, like the mouse pads were of last year, but we'll see.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Amber, start on our questions.
Here we go. So where did you grow up, and are you an only child?
Oh, no, I am not an only child. I was born in Syracuse, New York, grew up in the suburbs of Utica, New York, which is upstate to anybody in New York, but I defy anybody from Long Island to go up to Utica and hang out in the city because it was a tough city. Okay. I mean, I was in the suburbs, but I hung out in the city, and it's not sticks, man. We're not tipping cows up there. It was rough. That's what everybody. Anything north of Westchester, New York, is like it's cow country. It's not, but that's what everybody from the city thinks. Once I moved down here, I learned that. So I've been living in Long Island for at least 30 years at this point. And no, I'm the first of 6. Yeah, three brothers, 3 sisters. So yeah, I had a good as the first, but every Christmas, every few years, the piles would get a little smaller. And I was like, can you stop with the kids, please?
Oh, yeah, because you probably had a lot of firsts.
Oh, I had everything. The world was mine. Then I had my brother, and it was still like, all right, you can have a few of these things, but the rest is mine. I was actually a pretty good sharing kid, and I used to babysit everybody too. So, but yeah, 6 is a lot, man. People don't have 6 kids anymore, man. It's crazy.
They do not.
My mother wanted girls, and it took her 3 shots, 4 shots to get a girl. So.
And then she got her girls. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Nate said, don't you mean 4 brothers?
Oh, yes, Nate, my long-lost brother. I forgot about Nate. We went to Chuck E. Cheese one time, and he never came back, and we didn't know what happened to him. And next thing we know, he's in Michigan. I don't know. We lost him in a pile of balls. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Sorry. You know what I'm talking about, a Chuck E. Cheese.
I do. I got you.
All right, forget it.
What was your first pet?
Oh, pets. My first pet was, I think, my dog Jason. I probably had a cat, but I don't remember the cat. We had a cat, Mittens, but Jason was like a big German Shepherd Husky mix, I think. Big dog. Another, very, 70s dog. Nobody has German Shepherds anymore. But yeah, it's a sweet dog. Love that dog. It's great.
What
Always
is your
loved animals.
absolute best memory as a kid?
Wow, I don't remember you asking anybody this one. I must have missed this one. My best memory as a kid. I mean, when I was 3, and it's strange that I don't have the greatest memory of like events when I was a child, but like when I was 3, which is when most people say like I don't remember anything when I was 3. My grandparents took me to Disneyland, Disney World in Florida, and I vividly remember so much from that at 3 years old. Like it was just mind blowing for a 3-year-old to go to Disney World. So that was pretty good. As a kid, it's Christmas, right? Like you get stuff, and Star Wars Death Star was cool. It's such a sad, lame memory. You know what I mean? I'd like to come up with something more profound, but Disney World is pretty good as a 3-year-old. I'll say that one.
Yeah.
If you can remember something at 3 years old, that's a pretty good memory, I think.
That's a pretty good memory. That's exactly right. That's a core memory right there.
Yeah, exactly. That is a core memory.
What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Jeez. I mean, I am a meat eater. My wife is a vegetarian. But I like, if I had to have, like at any given time, chicken korma. I love Indian food, man. Chicken korma is my favorite Indian food. Even though like a good prime rib or something would be amazing. I would take chicken korma, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite fast food?
Oh, that is so easy. It's the only fast food I eat at this point, and it is a weird one. And I think probably most people would disagree. I've brought people with me who've never had it. It's Arby's beef and cheddar. Arby's beef and cheddar, double beef and cheddar.
Yeah.
It is the most phony, fake, non-real food you could eat, I think. I don't know what the cheese is made of, but it's not cheese, but it's freaking delicious. Every bite of that thing. I go by myself and I just I have to sit in the corner and just kind of, it's just, I love beef and cheddar, man. It's so good.
I'm so with you, Trevor. I am so with you.
Yeah, really? Oh, nice. Okay,
Yes.
good.
I love.
Yeah, because I mean, most people are like, this isn't even roast beef. It is roast beef. It's good. It's actually decent roast beef. It's not.
It's so good.
It's not high quality roast beef, but it's.
No.
It tastes delicious. Whatever that sauce they put on it, I don't even care. It's delicious. It's great.
The Arby's sauce. Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh yeah, Cloud says she won't eat it. Kessie would go. Kessie would go with me. They have the meats.
Is there any food that you consider completely disgusting?
Beans of almost any sort. I hate beans.
Yeah.
I hate refried beans. I hate black beans. I hate green beans. I hate wax beans. I hate beans. Strangely enough, I'll eat edamame. I like edamame. I don't know why. It's a different type of bean, and it's just I don't know. It's not all greasy, and I don't know. God, I hate. My wife loves black beans. Loves black beans and refried beans, and I cannot eat them whatsoever. I was tortured with wax beans as a kid. My mother would she'd make them for dinner, and if it was one of those things where it's you have to eat some vegetables before you leave the table. You have to eat some wax beans. I'm and I would sit there for an hour, 2 hours, and finally they'd give up. Usually, or I'd reluctantly eat one bean, and I think it's just maybe just that. I don't know. I think it's a mental block.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate beans.
Me too.
Oh yeah, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
feeling very simpatico with you. Ryan loves beans too.
No,
okay.
this is
yes.
great.
This is
you want some beans?
great.
I'm
All right, we're gonna hang out. We're going to Arby's, and then we're gonna just go to Taco Bell and order everything without beans.
no beans.
Allegiance Con.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. I love cats. I had cats when I was younger, and I love all animals. I'm an animal, fan, and love cats. Just dogs. It's just a different thing with dogs. Cats can be sweet, but then they're just I don't want anything to do with you.
Right.
like right now,
True.
I don't particularly like you, and the dogs are just always yes, you're the greatest thing in the world. Who doesn't want to be the greatest thing in the world to something? What I mean? It doesn't matter what I do. I could accidentally trip over them and kick them in the side and go, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's it's okay. I love you. You're the best.
It's so true.
It is.
Would you choose mountain, beach, or lake?
Damn, that's good. We were just talking about this. So we just went to the beach, and because that Long Island, the ocean is here again. It's a great place. It's not the cheapest place to live, but it's a great place. Beach is nice, but I've never been a beach person. I like going. I would totally live in the mountains in a forest with a pet bear and nothing else. My wife could come along. That'd be great. Maybe the dogs. But that's, yeah. I mean, I watched Grizzly Adams as a kid. I know it's an old show, but I'm dude, that's a great life right there. I could totally do that. You know what I mean? I'd have to get better with hunting and things like that, because I know you have to you have to survive and stuff. But I love being in the mountains. The Adirondacks are up in upstate New York, and we had a camp up there. The forest, mountains, yeah, that's all me. Absolutely. Yep.
So your favorite pizza topping?
Okay. I was gonna say something boring like pepperoni, but it's what's the name? Shoot, it's a certain brand, but it's really at this point like it's any hot honey. Have you ever had hot honey on your pizza?
I've
It's
never
called
had
like
hot honey on my
Ralph's
pizza.
hot honey, or there's a specific brand that's like very popular, but you can really get any hot honey, and you put that on, especially on pepperoni pizza. Gonna change your life. Gonna
Really?
change your life. Telling you
Wow.
right now.
I'm gonna have to try
Go out and get
this.
it. Go out and get it. It's incredible. Yeah.
Might have to try that. Yeah. We're going to ask a couple more questions and then we will draw for the prize again. Hashtag
Cool.
Trevor is awesome. It is a gift of either a print from Trevor, or if you still want a calendar from Trevor, something that he has in stock, he is going to
Yeah,
allow
both
you to
if you want
choose.
them.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Favorite sub, like hoagie.
Oh. I was gonna say like maybe a German U-boat. I'm not sure. I am not a
I
big
call them
sub person.
hoagies.
At one point, well, you're in Jersey. That's why, because you call them hoagies, right? Isn't that a Jersey thing? A hoagie thing? Isn't that a Jersey?
I'm right outside of Philly.
Oh well, that's definitely a
I'm in
hoagie
PA.
thing, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely
that's
a
definitely
hoagie thing.
a
Yeah.
hoagie thing. I did go to Subway for a while. It's gonna be really boring, like a chicken parm, probably, something like that. Meatball sub. It's gonna be meat. It's gonna be not a lot of no beans for sure.
Oh,
It's gonna be like a little bit of
I'm not.
lettuce. I like lettuce. I like greens and stuff like that. That's good, but I don't know. I mean, cheesesteak. I mean, there you go, Philly
Yeah.
cheesesteak. That's good. Yeah.
Yes, love a cheesesteak.
Hell yeah.
So, do you call it pop or soda?
Well, I don't drink either, but I call it soda. Yeah, soda's definitely a regional thing in New York. I'm pretty sure it's universal. I don't know anywhere in New York. I'm trying to think of the different boroughs. Nah, it's all soda. I think it's all soda, or just Coke.
And
Just
do
have
you,
Coke.
yeah. Do you have a favorite?
I don't drink soda. Now, when
Okay.
growing up, we had like, if you've ever seen like those military lockers full of ammo, we had like a closet like of 3 liter Pepsi bottles like that. My family was insane. Like it was just like you could lock and load with a 3 liter of Pepsi and just go. It was nuts. I didn't drink a lot. I drank a lot of milk as a kid, and unfortunately, we had like whole milk, which probably wasn't very good. Strong bones, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never really been a soda person. I love unsweetened iced tea, which I know people go. Ooh, some people go. Ew. Yeah, I just don't. I'm not really like big on the
Especially
sweet
down in the South,
drinks.
where we put the
Oh, you
sweet
gotta
in
have your sweet tea.
everything.
I know. You gotta have your sweet tea. Gotta have your sweet tea. It's so good without the sugar, man. It's so good. I don't know. I get the sugar every once in a while. I'll go to my deli and I'll get like a big glass of like a good big thing of iced tea, and they'll give me they know me and they know it's unsweetened, but every once in a while there'll be some new person or something that gives me sweetened, and I'll just take a sip of it like, oh god. I'll drive back to the deli specifically to tell them no, wrong.
Never.
Funny.
Look at my face.
All right,
Unsweetened.
All right, let's give this away. We have 36 people in, and we have 31 entries. Oh my goodness, Trevor! People want to have
Good. Oh, that's cool. I thought people would be sick of these at this point, but
No.
Oh, never.
there you go, Jimmy
Yeah.
Harris. Unsweetened.
All
film.
right. Okay.
Great dial maker
so,
too. I got a great dial from him.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, Jimmy is amazing. He is
Yep.
and just the sweetest person. Jimmy, I
Yep.
love you to death. All right. 31 entries, 36 people in here. So we are going to draw for this. Trevor is awesome. And thank you, Trevor, for offering this for us tonight. Let's draw.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. These are my favorite.
All right. It can't be a McCoy. Oh, Kirby. Nice. All right. You know what? You know what, Kirby? I don't have it on hand, but I will print you one of those goblin shots because I know that's what you want. You know what I mean? There's no way he wants anything else but a goblin shot. So you're going to have to wait a little while, but I will get that to you. You got to have that.
Congratulations, sure. Kirby.
Yay.
Oh my goodness. And
So exciting.
Kirby, we need you to share that goblin shot. You know what I want. Kirby,
I know you want. I know you want.
You're going to have to share that goblin shot when you get it so we can all see it.
You will be the first person to have it, man. Mark Houseal is going to be very jealous. Very, very jealous.
Yes, he is. All right. Couple more questions. We don't have a whole lot of time, but let's do you have a favorite family tradition that you guys do every year?
Not having kids, it's not like a thing that we, well, I mean, I like Christmas. I just like the season. You know what I mean? So yep. I am like, I think because of the artistic background and just because my wife is just not, my wife loves to work. So like I decorate the house. Like I do the decor. So like even when we had like somebody come in and help us like, design our bathroom and stuff like that, like I'm the one that's working with that person, you know what I mean? So I decorate the house. It's getting to be a little bit of a chore at this point, but we do have a Christmas party every year where we have like maybe 30, 40 people in the house, and that's fun, man. I just love seeing everybody, and we really go out and get some good food, get some people to serve it and stuff. So it's really nice. It really is kind of like it's early in the season, like early December, so we like kind of bringing it in, getting you in the spirit. So I like that a lot. Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
What was your first car?
Oh God. Okay. Was that the first car? So technically my first car was my parents' woodside station wagon, Force station wagon. Right, it had the wood sides, the wood panels, but it never ran. Like it never did it. We never did anything but sit in it and like think about how I was going to paint this big like phoenix on the front of the hood. That never happened either. So that went to the junkyard long before I even got my foot on the pedal on that thing. I think. Okay, so my first car was. Man, what the hell was that? A Sunbird? Pontiac Sunbird. I'm going to date myself here. But that some guy turned into a was turning into a parking lot because somebody like in front of him like waved him on. Like it was one of those situations where I was coming down and they thought they could go behind this guy, and then he just T-boned my door, so crushed the door, destroyed the car. Like it was the first one I'd ever like bought by myself. But okay, they total the car. Now I'd never gone through that either. So the insurance companies were total the car. We're going to give you, I don't know what the hell it was at the time, $2,000, $2,500. I was like, $2,500.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay. What? I'm gonna. So Ooh. I found a freaking Camaro online and in the paper probably at that point. There was no online. Like a red Camaro. I don't know if it was an IROC or not. I can't remember. Might have been an IROC. But anyway, oh my God. I go to the guy's house, I buy it used, and take it to my parents' mechanic. My dad insists, I take it there. The guy's, he's like, yeah, it's going to need brakes pretty soon, but it's in pretty good shape. I was like, so I buy it. probably the second week that I'm driving it to work, it's raining out like hard, and I go to hit the brakes at somebody stopped kind of short in front of me, and they didn't work. And I slammed into the car in front of me. I'd only had the thing for 2 weeks. Like, it was like my red Camaro. I'm like a 19-year-old kid or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so luckily it was somebody I knew that I hit from school, and we kind of took care of the insurance. But like I just paid her for her damages. Her damages were nothing. It was like a little bumper. The front, the hood of mine was all dented in. I couldn't even open the driver's side door at that point because it had crunched it. It was the worst. It was the worst.
Man.
It was so disappointing. Like, I didn't have the money to get it fixed. I just drove around with this piece of crap for like another 2 years until I got something else. It was so sad. It was so sad.
Oh.
Shut up, Curtis.
All right. We are
I should have said my first card was a horse and buggy. Yeah, that would have been better.
We are at the 2-hour mark, and I am very, very good about getting off right after 2 hours because I get up at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, that's right.
So so I get up real early, so I'm really good about cutting this off. But we have 2 questions that have to be asked for everybody.
Okay. I'll go quick.
I'll
go quick.
Number 1, how big are you hoping the dragon from Four Horsemen is going to be?
People have heard me say this. I'm not entirely serious about this. A little facetious. I at least want the dragon to fit into the lore. I just don't want a dragon for a dragon's sake. Right. So it's not just like I don't want a dragon, but I want a story behind it, which I'm sure they will do. 3 feet. Let's say 3 feet. 3 feet. Yeah.
And I am with you.
Done.
I want the lore behind it, but we've already got a Rekagor, and he is from the dragon.
He's dragonborn. He's dragonborn in the D&D terminology. Right. Yeah, I want it to be like, not just like, hey, dragon. Like, we're in the middle of this kind of finding out what happened during the Great War. And I kind of want that to play out. And then, like, hey, there's a new threat. There's a dragon.
Right.
Not just like, here's a dragon. I want it to be like, have impact at this point. I'm into the lore now. So there you go.
I know. I am too.
But 3 feet would be good.
Last question, Amber.
What is one thing that you can tell us that you never told anyone else?
I forgot about
your deepest, darkest secret.
That's not going to be my deepest, darkest secret. All right. That's not the worst thing in the world. I have an eclectic music taste, and I very much enjoy the Carpenters. I don't know. Is that something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over the place music wise. Okay. I've never seen Die Hard. No, not Die Hard 2. I've never seen Lethal Weapon 2. That people find that fascinating. I don't know why. Really? I know. I've never seen Lethal Weapon 2. Lethal Weapon 1.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, I was never into like action movies like that in the 80s. And I saw Lethal Weapon 1 just by osmosis. I mean, you couldn't help but not see that one. But Lethal Weapon 2, I don't think I've ever seen it. I'm pretty sure I've never seen it. So I'm going to remedy that.
We used to have family movie nights and watch that all the time.
Really?
Like
there are movies that I know people have not seen. Like, I was just watching the Euro guys, and they were doing their 80s movies countdown, and Highlander is something I love, and I know so many people who haven't seen Highlander. My wife hasn't seen Highlander. I'm like, oh my God, we're watching Highlander. But I'm going to watch Lethal Weapon 2 because, it's so good. Because I got to remind myself whether I've seen it or not, because maybe I did see it and I just don't remember it. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think that's that. Yeah, Grizzly Adams and the Carpenters. How old is Trevor? Yeah, Curtis Ackerman.
So, Curtis, I'm just going to say I grew up in that same area. Trevor is not. Trevor
Not
is
that
not
old, man.
that old. Because
50 is the new
I am
40,
too.
right?
That's right.
Or something like that. I don't know.
And
Whatever.
trust me, I got a birthday on Saturday, so trust me when I tell you.
That's so exciting.
Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Happy birthday.
That's awesome.
Woohoo.
Cheers to you.
When you're older, and trust me.
Yeah, I know. It's a number though,
can
man.
do
It's
it.
just a number. Like it really makes no difference. It's your
Yeah, it
attitude
doesn't.
and like
Right.
I hang around a lot of, I mean, obviously, you know, we're in this group. I hang around a lot of younger
Right.
people, you know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, it's the company you keep and the attitude that you have.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I think the toys honestly kind of keeps you a little, gives you a little that childhood edge to you, you know what I mean? And it keeps you from getting into
Yeah.
like, you know, not that there's anything wrong with knitting or, you know, stamp collecting or anything like that. You know, it's just, it's like, it's a little more youthful. You know what I mean? Than that, so.
So I'm not going to tell you that I've got my knitting needles downstairs beside my chair.
I used to garden and stuff too, and that was when I'm out like doing like gardening and stuff like that. I'm like, boy, man, how old am I? Like here, like you know what I mean? But like,
It's like,
there's stuff that has to be done. It
parents
just has to be
Yeah.
done, regardless of whether you like
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, Trevor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
tonight.
guys.
It was a
Thank you.
super
Yes.
good night. We had the best
So
fun.
much
I
fun.
love
Me too.
having everybody on the show and just getting to know you better. I feel like Trevor, we're besties. Like you're gonna be my best friend now.
Well,
'cause we are.
You're an Arby's girl, and
Yeah.
you're, you know, you know who Grizzly
I'm
Adams
telling
was,
you.
so we're down,
Yeah.
man. We're like
I'm
this now at this
telling
point.
you. Yeah, that's right.
No beans for life.
And Amber, we're
Yeah.
already like, you know, we're already
Yeah.
there. So yeah.
So
This is so much fun. I love your show. I love those questions. I love that you guys do those because it is like different and you do get to know people, and that's why I love watching the show. You know what I mean? You guys are very good at what you do for being so new at doing this. So
Thank you.
we appreciate it. A lot of thought goes into it, and there's a lot of times we don't get
I
to
know.
like all the photos that I downloaded of yours that we didn't get to see. But
people have seen those.
well, and yeah, they're all over the Cabal. But what we don't get to do
Exactly.
is just like hear you talk about your life and what you do and all the
Yeah.
stuff. So that's kind of awesome. So thank you
Exactly.
again, Trevor. We appreciate it. Now remember,
Thank you.
everybody, every night of the week, there's probably something on YouTube for you to watch.
Yes.
I don't have my
Either
list
myself
of-
or Curtis is going to be on the show. So
It's on every night of the week.
if you like either one of
cannot
us,
miss
you can
it.
watch
Yeah.
them. Right.
So please check out all the shows on YouTube. And subscribe. Get all of your friends to subscribe. We are really trying to hit 500. And last I checked, it was 378.
Let's go.
Please,
Create
we
some
can do
fake
this.
accounts. Let's go.
Yes, come on, everybody, subscribe. All right, Trevor, I hope you have a great week. We will see you in and around the YouTubers, and
Yep.
yeah, looking forward to it. All right, bye everybody. Bye, Miss
Bye,
Thanks, guys.
friends.
No beans for life. No beans for life.
Emma.
No beans